Greetings kind and gentle viewers, since Grand Theft Auto 5 release date is only around the corner, I thought now's the perfect time to give you my thoughts, comments and opinions on some of the previous entries in the GTA franchise. The original GTA was released back in 1997, which was 16 years ago. You have no idea how old that makes me feel. The game took place in 3 fictionalized versions of real American cities. Liberty City, which is based in New York, Vice City, which is modeled after Miami, and San Andreas, which is fashioned after LA and Nevada. The original GTA had dick in the way of a story. In whatever city you were in at the time, you took a call from the gangster you were working for. Doing so would give you a mission to do, and that's how you progress through this game. The game did, though, have some of the most jaw-dropping cutscenes for a game from that time period.
Hey, Aruzo, I got a warning for you from Bald Man Sonetti. Cross him again, I'll stick a gun up your ass and blow your f***ing eyeballs out. Capiche?
Yeah, even back in the day, the graphics in this game sucked cow shit that were bendable straw. Despite those 2 marks against it, the game was still awesome for one simple fact: it was so much fun to play. One of the things that made it so much fun to play is that you weren't forced to do the missions. If you wanted to, you could just run around causing general mayhem. Given the fact you play an unremorseful killer and criminal in this game, those self-appointed morality police get scuttling out the woodwork to say,
"Down with this sort of thing!"
Guess what happened to the sales for this game? I know it's a tough question to answer. You know what? I'm going to give you a moment to mull over the possible answer for this most difficult of conundrums. Yep, it sold a metric shit ton of copies, so 2 years later, 1999, Grand Theft Auto 2 was released. At its core, the game is pretty similar to the predecessor, however, I didn't really care all that much for it. Logically, it makes about as much sense as me donning Lady Gaga's infamous meat dress and going swimming in shark-infested waters. Granted, it was neither today nor yesterday that I played the second Grand Theft Auto, but from what I can recall, there wasn't really anything that leapt out at me that I could say was absolutely terrible about it, but for some reason, it just didn't sit right with me. Has it ever happened to you that you should be finding something awesome but you're not? Maybe it's just me that shit happens to. I wasn't really looking forward to playing the third in the series. That was until I heard that they were ditching the top-down perspective in favour of making it fully 3D. And I lost my fucking fudge at the thoughts of being able to play Grand Theft Auto in a fully 3D environment. And this game fully lived up to my extremely high expectations I had. The game brought many improvements, including that when you walked up and punched a motherfucker, some people would turn tail and run, while other people would say, "Fuck you, I'm not taking that shit from you," and would fight back. The inclusion of a fight or flight response might have been a small touch, but it's the small touches in this game that made it so great. Another thing that made this fan-fucking-tastic was the humour.
Albino carrots, as they're known back home.
Okay, here's the deal. This isn't Gardening with Maurice. That's on later.
No, he got taken off the air. He lied. I know he did. I've been trying to make a hybrid of a peach and a Pekingese midget fighting bitch for the last 2 years, and it is impossible. Impossible, I tell you.
Okay, and speaking of impossible, Jane from Cedar Grove is on the line, and she wants to talk about how difficult it is being a parent today. Hello, Jane.
Hi, Laszlo. I love the show. I'm a first-time caller. I wanted to say something about these video games. They are warping our kids' minds. My son's dog, Bugo, got hit by a truck, and he says, "Mommy, Mommy, where's the reset button?"
I'd often just park the car and listen to the talk radio station. And like the previous entries in this franchise, Grand Theft Auto 3 caused a lot of controversy, which gave the morality police another opportunity to scream,
"Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?"
And one of the media organisations that were weighing in to fan the flames of controversy were the Fair and Balanced Fox News, who are about as fair and balanced as a serial killer after downing 3 bottles of Jack Daniels. And of all the people to queue around the block to call Grand Theft Auto 3 the most vile piece of media they'd ever seen in their lives that week, included Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck is that easily offended, I'd swear he would try and cause moral outrage based purely upon his shadow. And of course the moral majority getting their knickers in a twist did diddly dig shit to hurt sales of Grand Theft Auto 3, and in 2002 a pseudo-sequel was released called Grand Theft Auto Vice City. One of the main inspirations for this game is the 80s gangster flick Scarface.
Say hello to my little friend!
So naturally I dug this shit out of the story in this game. But even before I knew that this was Scarface influenced, yeah, I know I could have read a couple of magazines at the time, but I was fucking lazy so I didn't bother. The first song I heard in this game was Michael Jackson's Do You Wanna Be Starting Something, which of course I dug the shit out of. It's like one of my favourite songs of all time. This really increased the size and the scope of what was possible in a Grand Theft Auto game. There was just so much for you to see and do in this game. It's fucking insane. I could list it all, but quite frankly, you don't have the patience and I don't have the time. Vice City takes place in the 1980s and has a bitchin' 80s soundtrack.
2, yeah, let's go out!
Vice City reached its 10-year anniversary last year, Rockstar decided to release an port on Apple devices. And of course I jumped at the chance to be able to play Vice City on the go, but my enjoyment was short-lived due to how it controlled. I found it quite difficult to move the character and attack at the same time. The poor controls also meant it was extremely difficult to drive, and given the fact that in order to do the vast majority of the missions in this game you need to use some form of transport, it made it pretty much impossible for me to progress in this game. Maybe I just gave up too quickly, and if I'd stuck with it I would have gotten used to the controls and it would have become awesome. But I was getting so frustrated by the controls in this game, I came desperately close to throwing my iPad off the wall on more than one occasion. So I decided for my own sanity and my iPod's safety, it wasn't a good idea for me to continue playing it, so I just stopped. I am not saying screw Rockstar for making this, it was very much an admirable failure. And 2 years on from Vice City in 2004, Rockstar released the second pseudo-sequel to Grand Theft Auto 3, which was called Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which once more saw Rockstar up the ante from the previous installment in the franchise. At the time, this was the most realistic GTA game ever. Your character had to eat and sleep to stay alive for fuck's sake. Also, there was a shit ton of ways for you to customize your character, such as tattoos, haircuts, etc. There were also shit tons of minigames thrown in. One of my favourites was the dancing minigame you could play when your character hit the club. San Andreas takes place in the early 90s, so the soundtrack included many songs from that era.
It's like this and like that and like this and it's like that and like this and like that and
As you can tell, I have a deep love and affection for the Grand Theft Auto franchise. I love the story in the latter games, I love the soundtrack in the latter games, I've always dug the hell out of the gameplay. I just think all around the Grand Theft Auto franchise kicks a lot of fucking ass.
That's all you get, jerks!